Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 444 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for words about games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander. I'm joined this week by Daff and Moody.
Howdly doodly do, everybody. It's Friday. You know what that means. It's the holiest of days itself. It's video game day. All hail video game day. Hallelujah. Great stuff.
Yeah, good, yeah. We're also joined this week by Vitz Patel.
What's good, everybody? How are we all doing? Yeah, good to see you, everybody. It's been a week, but yeah, this is always one of the highlights.
Oh, that's nice. I like to hear that's good. I like to hear that. You can tell I'm tired because I didn't think of any. I didn't throw any nicknames in there for either of you. It's just going to be one of those days.
Maybe we'll get the speed run, Moody.
The speed run.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Avowed must be brilliant then.
She's asleep. How's everybody doing?
Oh, doing okay. Inspired by your new video essay available on a new YouTube channel, I've picked up and rolled a new character on Elden Ring, which has been very, very fun to go back and play through. And yeah, so posted a video on Bluesky about me taking down Margaret the Fell Omen, and then today Godric got his ass got. So yeah.
Would you say Godric? No, that doesn't work.
No. But yeah, Godric the Grafted is no more. So yeah, loving playing that game. And then it's been, a good couple of years since I played through it first, and it's amazing how much I've retained in terms of, oh, this is over there and this is over there kind of thing, or I should go find this NPC and have a chat with them. But yeah, it's a masterclass in video game design. And for more on Elden Ring, and indeed all things Dark Souls, please be sure to check out It's Me, Amy Kate, the all new YouTube channel over on youtube.com/It's Me, Amy Kate.
That's me. It's amazing how much you retain, how much information you retain about a video game when you have to find the things yourself.
Yes.
The first time, as opposed to follow the dot.
Yeah,
because I had the same experience within the remaking of this video when I replayed the game last year. And it was like, I know where stuff is, right? Like, I don't know how I know where stuff is. I forget things on a regular basis, but I can tell you exactly where to find this thing and that thing and this other thing, and it's weird. But yeah, no.
Yeah,
my video.
We had to kind of create our own landmarks in our head as well when it comes to the route to certain places as well. And okay, I can cheese this and get like Torrent to jump here and here and figure out that way, and this bit I need to kind of sneak through, and opening the chest in the Dragonburnt ruins, and then it takes you over to that thingy, and then I was like, oh, I should remember this. I remember the trap very, very well, and then I was like, okay, I'm way too squishy for all of this, so I'm gonna run. I just ran to the side grace and then got the freak out of there. So yeah, it was all good.
That's where you need to go if you want to throw some rocks. That's where Moody's going in a few months. But no, yeah, my favorite ones are the ones your things you remember just a second too late.
Yes.
Like my favorite one, riding towards Castle Morn. And then just being like, oh, well, let me just get this map. Let me just get this map fragment. Wait, isn't there a?
Yeah. Why have I got an 18-foot long arrow in my chest?
Wait, isn't there something here? Bam.
Exactly.
Yes, there is. Thank you. My body.
All of this majesty you have to look forward to. It's going to be a good old time.
And you have to enjoy it. There's a pizza bet on the line.
No, or not. It's completely up to you.
But yeah, no, I put my video out last Saturday. It's doing much better than I expected. And people like it. Which is also not what I was expecting.
for the Star Wars edit alone.
Star
It
Trek.
needs to be Star Trek. Sorry, yeah. I'm tired. I should have said that from the rip. Yeah, for that edit alone, it's amazing.
I mean, that was I'm losing my mind in the editing there. And I think I said that on Lollyfox's comment where I was like, that was just like me losing my marbles. And following through on it.
Goddamn right.
Goddamn right I did. But yeah, no, it was an interesting video to make. A long time it took to make it, longer than it probably should have, but it was good. No, there were no like crunches, there were no like last minute changes to any part of the video. Like, just very chilled experience.
The new template for going forward.
I'll completely reinvent myself with every single video I make.
That's it.
There's already a comment on there, which is a very lovely comment about subscribing to the channel and being like, I don't know when you're going to release another video, but I subscribed. And I'm like, can we not with it's not even been a week. Please.
Just she doesn't know when her next video's coming out.
Please, I don't even know what it's about yet. I'm trying to take some time off.
What is that? Time off?
I know, right? Like,
time.
I know, but like, I can't believe how much. It's like, and I know, like in the realm of YouTube, like overall, like it's not a lot, but like it's got like over 600 views on a channel that didn't exist before last week, and that's just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, I'm just watching this line going up, and I'm like, I don't know what to process. What's happening here? This is not what's supposed to happen.
No.
And after the friends and family comments, the first comment I got after that was just a one that said Redditor lol, and I was like, here they come. And surprisingly enough, I didn't get that many negative comments. I like, for a video that's designed to only make
the whiny babies off,
to only make sense at the end and piss everybody off for the first like half. I'm surprised more people didn't get mad at me. You know, just have to trust that people are going to stick around to the end. And they did.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's a great little video. It is. It's a great little video, Amy. You should be very proud of yourself. So
I'll come when I wake up.
I'll be proud when I walk.
I'll be proud of it for a little bit, and then I'll be like, oh, I could have done this better, and I could have changed this, and I could have used this word, and I could have done this, and then I'll be back to normal.
And then the existential dread of just like, what is my next video? Oh no, people are asking about my next video. Oh no, type of thing.
Basically. How do I follow it up? Like, it was a success. Oh crap. Like, how do I follow this one up?
This is how you follow up by going to another franchise that no one complains about at all.
Like Fallout.
About an ending with multiple colors at all.
Like Fallout. That would take too long.
Who knows? That would take too long. You'd be like, see, it started well with 1 and 2 and 3, but then Todd Howard got involved, and then and it went downhill since then.
Oh no, I thought you meant the Mass Effect one. That would take too long.
No, that's true.
I
was meaning the Fallout one, because I know you like the first 2 or 3. No, 2, isn't it? Yeah, you like the first 2, and then yeah, I've overcome.
Mixed, complicated feeling. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I have a lot of ideas. I'm not one of these people that needs a computer to generate my ideas for me. The ideas part isn't the problem.
Wait, someone uses it? Give me an idea.
Yeah. Well, YouTube does it for you now. Like, there's a tab you can go into in YouTube Studio where AI like gives you a bunch of like video titles and thumbnails. Like I saw a bunch of people making fun of it because it's terrible. But
it's all Gen AI stuff is. Yeah.
Like one of the speedrunners I follow on Bluesky posted theirs, and they were very impressed with was like, there was this one, and the title was of some game being like oh, this new skip like totally like destroyed the world record, and it's just like, what new skip? You just expect me to make it up for a video? Yeah, sure, no problem, bro. Like, absolutely. But I don't know. I've got ideas. Some of them are weird.
Only some. I'm disappointed.
Well,
So if it isn't weird, then I would be very disappointed. Just like what Vitz said, yeah, or like
you've got to like mix in the weird with the things people actually want to watch a video about. So like people actually want to watch a video about Dark Souls. But there's other things that they don't want to watch a video about, but I'm going to make a video about anyway.
Of course.
And then I'll follow that up with something people actually like have heard of.
Yeah. That's it. Never make content to appease an audience. Make the content that you want to make.
No, like I did have that existential crisis Moody was talking about halfway through when I was editing it, and you get there's the first chapter, which is just like, why did everybody say dark? You know what I mean? Like you've watched it, you know, and then but when you get to the chapter with, hey guys, everybody who wants an easy mode, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, now I know what point I'm trying to make in this moment, and the point is in the video, but it's not like here, and I'm kind of worried because I don't want to piss you off. But it's coming across that way. That was the only point of the end, like of the whole thing, where I was like, do I need to change this in any way?
Like, if I may, by that point, people are locked in, and they're there to listen to everything you've got to say before making let's say a rational conclusion. So, like, if that was from the rip kind of thing, from the opening paragraph, then I think people would be more they'd be more flammable with it in terms of
this person's just here to complain about people thinking Dark Souls is too hard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. It did make me swap the two things around. The thing where I was like, hey, these people who just say get good at everybody are dickheads, was after that easy, like, why do you want an easy mode part?
Yeah.
And I did flip those to try and sort of like say, no, I'm on your side. Like, trust me.
I'm on your side, you idiots.
I'm on your side. It already has an easy mode. Trust me. You just need to get through the next half an hour.
You maniacs.
And everything will be fine.
Oh, and in other news, Alien vs. Predator, after watching Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, brilliant film. No notes. That's how terrible these two movies were. That Alien vs. Predator was, an okay movie in my mind.
I get it.
But yeah.
I understand it. Like I said, we've already spoken about this, and I see where it's coming from when you for whatnot. 3 and 4 are bad tastes, but I enjoy them still. I'm a glutton for punishment for me when it comes to it. I can't stand AVP or the next one, which is going to be interesting.
I was saying to you, like, I've never seen the next one, and Moody's like, bring a flashlight. So yeah, looking forward to catching that at some point over there.
No, but I love your reply. I've got the illuminated one anyway. I was like, wait, what? Right. So they've gone in and edited it.
They patched it. Yeah.
We're patching movies now.
Apparently, yeah. When I read that, I was like, wait, what?
Wait, is that not just what a director's cut is? It's just a patch for a movie.
Don't know. Maybe, probably.
Is that...
Hopefully, like some. So yeah, because you're right. Because extended cut would just mean more scenes, but a director's cut would be they've gone back and not essentially added stuff, but just tweak things.
The extended cut is modders have gotten in and plugged in all of the cut content.
It really just depends on the person, really, I guess. In the day, like James Cameron, his special edition is dubbed the special edition, but he also considers as a director's cut. Alien is director's cut. Alien 3, I think, is the special edition dubbed as it, and I think Resurrections is dubbed as a special edition. But there's other ones like Ridley Scott for Kingdom of Heaven, I think that film is his is a director's cut and everything.
That's Orlando Bloom in that one, right?
So it's Avatar, I'm pretty sure James Cameron says the extended cut. Like he's got three versions of the first Avatar movie. One's like 15 minutes longer, and the other one's like 30 minutes longer and everything.
Yeah, because everybody came to those movies and said, you know what, these movies are too damn short.
Fuck yeah.
He doesn't get to the
Make
point.
them longer.
If people cried about number two's length, they're gonna fucking love number 3's length.
All right. So extended edition modders plugging in cut content. Director's cut. The movie's been patched. We've brought the frame rate up. Don't worry about it. And then you've got special editions, which I assume give you 3 days early access to the film.
Yeah, and
yeah, probably, yeah.
And an XP boost, so you can play it at twice speed to get through it faster.
Yeah, which you might want to do for Requiem. And it's a short film anyway. It ain't long.
There's a button for that. Like, you can just watch things faster. I found it by accident on YouTube the other day when I dropped my phone. I was watching Kyle Bosman's video, and I was like, "Why is he talking so fast?"
Yeah, why is he like Chip now?
He just talks fast anyway. But no, I finished Paradise on Disney Plus, the Sterling K. Brown show. So good, so good. He is amazing in it, and god damn, that man is gorgeous. He's a good-looking man. There's parts in that show I was just like. I was like this. I was like, hello. I was like, damn.
And then, dear listener, by the time you get around to hearing this, season 2 of Severance will be out in this entirety. So then Amy will be able to dip in and binge through that series. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
It'll be a while. I'm watching something right now, and I'm going to finish that first.
You know what she's like. She takes the time or doesn't even touch it at all.
Even if it's highly recommended. Some of the stuff you talk about, and then I'm not going to watch anyway. Like, I'm just being polite. Like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, that sounds good, yeah.
But we know you like X-Men.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but it's awesome. Yeah, it's not going to say it though.
I didn't say I was talking about it.
We know you would like it, but yeah, we're not going to say it.
You know I would like it. You don't know I would like anything. Even my reactions to things surprise me. So if you think you know me, I don't know how that's possible.
There's some films I've heard you say you like, and I've went, wait, what? Anyway, it's a different opinion, and I'm glad you enjoy it, and I'm disappointed I did not enjoy it. Kind of, maybe. Who knows?
Or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, yeah, it's a great show. Apparently, it's been renewed for season 2, which is great. Like how it ends, it's like really, really canny. All performances I thought were really, really canny. There is some batshit crazy people in that show, though. Like, wow, holy mother of God! There was one girl who I was just like, oh, you're crazy. You're not even a sociopath. You're all the paths. You're every path that makes you go cuckoo crazy. You're all of them. That is you. And James Marsden, who was Cyclops and everything, did a really good job and everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what they do next. I'm going to touch. I don't know if we're going back to Peaky Blinders or we're going to try out. I think it's 1,000 Punches or something. Basically, the writer of Peaky Blinders done a new show, and I think it's out now. So I might watch that next.
Cool.
Maybe.
I mean, I want to if I wasn't already watching something, I'd still wait on Severance season 2. I need to wait for the theory crafting to die down. Severance has become popular enough now that people constantly theory craft about the show after every episode, which I've largely avoided because I've been avoiding spoilers. But I don't like theory crafting. If you know, like not like if I was just chatting with Vitz about like, oh, this was crazy. Like, I wonder what this means. Mm-hmm. I mean, like the theory crafting industry of
the content creators.
Yeah. And the content creator adjacent people on social media who are like, I believe this thing means this. And it's like, yeah, that's what happened in the episode. That's literally like the text, not subtext. That's the text.
It's not subtext.
Someone shared an image of it where it's like that famous TikTok where it's like the guy trying to eat the fork, the spoon with the soup with the fork. And
this one doesn't hold.
This doesn't hold the soup. It's because of these slots, and it's like that's how I feel when I like watch like Severance season 2 ending explained or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like those type of things either. I like to know like I watch sometimes like Screen Crush, and like it's more of just like the Easter eggs and everything, and I like it. I like the little things of just like learn a little bit of knowledge about certain things.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like full theories, I'll just go, you're now boring me, sir. Thank you very much. Bye. You've got to your part where I don't like to hear you, and everything like, and that's most of them though at the same time because it's just like 9 times out of 10 because of how polarizing online is these days, the people who do that type of thing as well, we also see the other side of it who are crazy, and if they don't get what they're saying is should happen, they go full on toxic and go maniacs,
They
and it's
trap
just like,
themselves. They're like,
yeah,
this is my
yeah,
theory of what's going to happen, and then something else
yeah,
happens because that's how stories work. And then,
yeah.
but then it's like the show sucks now because the thing that they wanted to happen didn't happen.
Yeah, and their opinion and their thing that should have happened is just automatically the best thing ever, and it's just like, okay. Why I don't watch fan stuff because I'm just like, okay, 9 times out of 10 fan stuff is just fighting. Just by the way, especially in Star Wars, and I'm just like, guys, get over yourselves.
Yeah, I think the Last Jedi just like was like the springboard out of like, okay, I'm just never gonna like engage with like this part of any fandom ever again.
Yeah.
Like, apart from a couple of run-ins, Moody, you'll remember, that I had with Star Trek fans when I posted some Star Trek opinions on Twitter. Which, that wasn't me seeking them out, that was them seeking me out. And me basically telling them to go away. But, yeah, it's like, I don't really, like, go in for any of that stuff anymore.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because it's wild. It's the Wild West out there.
Sure
and it turns out I just want to sit in the bar and listen to the man play the piano with a glass. Just leave me in peace. I'm waiting for my friend. But let's talk about some video games. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we must.
Should we talk about Baldur's Gate 4?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Too early. Go. There's my opinion. There. Done.
There we
It's
go.
not your topic. You don't get to say
I'm joking. I'm taking a piss. I'm joking.
Yeah, so this is stories that Hasbro wants Baldur's Gate 4, but isn't in a hurry. So Hasbro has, quote, a lot of people very interested in Baldur's Gate, end quote, as developer Larian moves away from the series. As we know, like Amy and I, not to speak for you, Ames, but this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm pretty sure you have similar sentiments towards this. And
don't mention favorite games of all time ever again. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
PTSD flashbacks.
This is a game that I enjoyed.
You enjoyed.
Yes. And yeah, but as many people know, this leveraged the Dungeons and Dragons IP, which is owned by Hasbro, and Larian Studios developed it, and the Game Awards scores of praise and awards across the world. And last year, Larian, director of publishing, said the game is doing even better. So even more people are playing it this year, or last year rather, in 2024 than in 2023, the year it came out. But we know that Larian is moving on to and has 2 confirmed games which are currently in the works. Both of them original or their own IP. So these are IP that Larian owns. And they've also described it as, quote, the best work ever. But Hasbro, they love that money. And they have this license and they want to exploit it for as much as it's worth. And they were making noises this week around GDC about where the kind of the future of the franchise is going. And they kind of respect the titan that was Baldur's Gate 3 and the kind of the need for it to cool off. And where I wanted to come with this is kind of how long should it take off? So for me, it's, and this is kind of irrespective of video game development times, it needs to take a good, I would say 10 years. Now, I know this is going to be shocking to Hasbro executives who want something out by the end of next week because they need that money, but it needs time to settle in terms of how special Baldur's Gate 3 was and how much of a kind of a concord and a landmark moment it was for video games in terms of the Herculean effort to get this title. And it's not This is to say, not every video game developer is making Baldur's Gate 3, and there's a reason why.
Oh, let's not do
Gate...
that again.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a reason why it's so special and it's so beloved by so many people, and it's kind of want to give that game reverence, but also to let people miss Baldur's Gate. Now, because Larian aren't working on the next title, it may very well be the case that it's going to have a different look and feel, and essentially be a different game to Baldur's Gate 3. And when people are looking to play, in theory, the direct sequel, Baldur's Gate 4, that might come as a bit of a jarring statement if they're not as clued up as we all are, including you, dear listener, to say, okay, it's a different team handling this. They might take a different style with it. Who is going to be the team that who pitches the right idea to Hasbro to give them the green light? And are there any interesting directions we can take in it? Could it be like for example, like a Supergiant comes to them and says, well, you know how we got Hades? I want to do that for Dungeons and Dragons. And that might just be like a pitch that they throw at them and it doesn't stick. But literally can go anywhere. But my first point is to say that, yeah, I think it needs a good time for people to have some reverence and then have the need for more content, because at the time of recording, we're still waiting for the final patch for Baldur's Gate 3 to come out, which is when which is patch 8.0, and then that will be the one where I do my next playthrough kind of thing, now that all the content that Lauren's going to put in the game is there. And then as you know, kind of thing, the longer you wait to play or replay a game, the more kind of quality of life updates there are. And then specifically with Baldur's Gate 3, the more mods are available to bring even more quality of life updates, and they've had more time to be refined and improved and what have you. But yeah, I think it's an interesting opportunity that Hasbro has on its hands, in terms of there'll be a lot of, to be fair, let's retract that. I don't think there'll be a lot of studios pitching for this because of the legacy that Baldur's Gate 3 has. And it's going to be a tough mountain for this new developer, whoever happens to be, to climb. Which is why I'm thinking it's going to be completely different, and a completely different departure from what Baldur's Gate 3 is. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. I can rustle up some thoughts about Baldur's Gate 4. It'll be as close to Baldur's Gate 3 as the developer can possibly make it, because that's what big companies that have like investors like want. Like there was the story that came out last week about investors looking for the next Balatro. So it's like the money, there's a lot of investment money in going into, hey, let's find the next Balatro. Like, well, you didn't find the original Balatro. So that's not how any of this works. But in their mind, it's like, if they can just make the Balatro, but their own Balatro, they'll make all of the money and get all of the awards. And like, it's Hasbro, who aren't the greatest company. I don't know anything about any of the other. I don't know anything about any of the other D&D games that they've got in production, but I do know what they'll be looking for with Baldur's Gate 4 is Baldur's Gate 3, but again.
Same but different.
Yeah, the same, but with a 4 on the end, so they can sell it again to everybody who bought the third one. You know, the AAA approach to sequel making, but. The sequel itself, I don't know who's going to end up developing it, but I think it could end up being a poison chalice for whichever developer takes it on, because it's not the Larian game, which is immediately it's not being made by Larian, which is immediately going to set people off as it does on the internet, and then it's got to live up to Baldur's Gate 3, which is a tough task.
It's a bit of Herculean.
Yeah, I've heard people really like that game. It's quite beloved. You know, won awards. I don't know what awards it won, but it won some awards. But yeah, like it's an interesting thing, but also just like, I don't know, like how fast is it going to come? I mean, faster than you expect, probably. It's already been more than a year since the third one came out. It wouldn't surprise me if Hasbro already have a developer in their pocket to make another one.
because of corporation rather than for the sake of art or anything like that, of course.
Yes, to make money. Yes,
Yeah.
not art doesn't factor into this. Like from the corporate side, not necessarily from the. I'm not having a go at the next developer of Baldur's Gate. I'm purely from the corporation side. I'm talking about.
Moody, a random question for you: Is there anything that a Baldur's Gate 4 could do for you from the rip to be more appealing than Baldur's Gate 3 is or isn't for you? Like if they turned it into like an action adventure game rather than like a turn-based Amy.
If they set the next one not in the Forgotten Realms, but in Kamurocho, Japan.
Yes.
Or anywhere in Japan.
And it's called Baldur's Gate Yakuza.
And have 3 main characters, Kiryu, Ichiban, and Yagami. And maybe. I haven't, but yeah, like I've said multiple times, and as you both know, I tried to get into it. I think it was just at the time, I was just like, overall, I was just like, I wasn't feeling this, and I think it's just that type of thing for me. I have nothing but love for the game personally on the thing of what it had done, and I think I think everybody should nothing but give this game props at Larian itself, respect to what they did for this game, a game that I don't think anyone really had on the radar, really, overall. I'm not saying I'm in the game and to know that I know what every game is coming out and everything and what's what. But like when first time I heard of it was when Russell, was it, who picked it on Fantasy Critic?
Oh my God, you weren't even
2 years ago.
Yeah, you weren't even here when it got announced on the podcast. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, so like I had no idea this game was coming out. I had no idea this game was kind of already out in early access. So when this game fully released to 1.0 and just blew up, I was just like, fucking hell, that's amazing. Congrats. What is this game? I've never heard of this, even though I heard it the January before by Russell picking it for Thingy. But I still I had no idea what it was. I had no idea it was a Dungeons and Dragons game or anything like that. Or part of that franchise.
Yourself a BioWare fan.
I know I'm terrible, horrendous. I am, but no. To get me in for the next game or anything like that, just it's a cliche of like what Amy's kind of just said. Like just make a good game, and it's hard. It's incredibly hard to do that type of thing. And at this moment in time of how my gaming fixations right now are, I think it's the first thing to say for myself. I have really no interest in it right now. I may get to Baldur's Gate 3 one day. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not going to put a bet on that and say, boom, I will play this in 2026.
Well, I'll make a pizza. No,
we're not doing that.
I'm not a rich person. I need to stop making pizza bets.
Yeah, you do need to stop. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to like Baldur's Gate 4 and everything like that, I don't think Larian will do the next Baldur's Gate game. I think they will do Baldur's Gate 4, but I just don't think they will do the next Baldur's Gate game, because I think, like what Amy's just said, they will put another company on to get another Baldur's Gate game out as fast as possible. Larian will probably be there, like saying, okay, this is what you need. Here's some of these things that we use, type of thing. Go in whatever direction.
Amy, go for it.
They're not making Baldur's Gate. They're not doing Baldur's Gate 4. They've already said they're making something completely new next.
I know that, but they can still probably help them, or not help them, but give them direction of something like, this is what we did type of thing. You're obviously not doing 4. That's something we're going to do eventually. Because I think Hasbro will also, Larian's big team, the bosses and everything like that, have probably got enough clout right now to pose that Hasbro can't really touch them and force them to get Baldur's Gate 4 out straight away. But obviously Hasbro have enough clout of the part of they own the franchise to say, we still want at least a new Baldur's Gate game out, even if it's not Baldur's Gate 4.
I feel you've missed what I said. They're done with Baldur's Gate and Dungeons and Dragons.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh, my apologies.
Larian was saying it was terrible to work with Hasbro, and even before in the tail ends of early access, they were like, "Look, this is our last Baldur's Gate game. We're one and done."
I might have heard that, but that didn't stay in this brain. No, I apologize then. My apologies then. It'll come out in 5 years.
It'll be the
Baldur's
same.
Gate 4's,
Fair enough.
Baldur's Gate 4
It'll review really well because it's more Baldur's Gate, but then it'll be one of those games where as the further from release it gets, opinion like sours more and more.
People will see the cracks in it and stuff like that.
And then they'll be saying, why didn't Larry do this?
Well-
and then Larry will have released their next game and be like, why did Hasbro not tell them to do it or something like that?
We've had a
And
ton
there'll be a
of
whole
D&D
back and forth.
games, and they've largely all been shit.
There's been some good ones.
Especially the action adventure ones.
There were some good ones in there, mixed in there. But I mean, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, right? They existed. BioWare, 90s, big boxes. But I mean, the thing about the Poison Chalice, to reopen the Discourse door for a second, just ignore the smell of smoke. The reason Baldur's Gate 3 was a massive success wasn't down to the fact that it was a Baldur's Gate game. It was down to the fact that Larian had been making games like it for more than a decade and honed and refined their craft. And that's the sort of the worry. I'm not saying like another developer can't come in and make something just as good as Baldur's Gate 3 for Baldur's Gate 4. They absolutely could. That's perfectly like plausible scenario, but they don't have that lineage, that team, that pedigree of everybody working together on the Divinity series, which itself was already exceptionally good. Just it hadn't blown up in the way Baldur's Gate 3 had. So I don't know how well another developer could do making another Baldur's Gate game. It's like even if they don't go down the route of right, we just want to make Baldur's Gate 3 but put a 4 on the end of it. It's like if they go the other direction and like bring a bunch of their own stuff and their own ideas to it, that might not necessarily work out quite as well either.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think we're. Excuse me. Yeah, I think we're on the same page in terms of. Baldur's Gate worked because it's Larian's legacy, it's a lineage, and also I think it also landed at a time when D&D is at the kind of peak of its zeitgeist, and it might be the case that it kind of withstands and withholds this peak for a number of years yet. In terms of you have super popular IP like Critical Role and things like that, which are still going strong and just celebrated their 10th anniversary. So congrats to the team over there. And like with it being within pop culture now to be D&D, and it's not necessarily something that's has as much stigma around it. It still has a little. It's still got a little stank to it, and it's less than it was. I will say that much. But and all three of us have played D&D off the back of that, and it was the inspiration for the one shot. Indeed, like we had a slide saying "True magic lies beyond the third Baldurian gate. Go play Baldur's Gate 3" kind of thing. So.
It wasn't Baldur's Gate 3 that made me want to play Dungeons and Dragons. It was Life is Strange True Colors for me.
So that's fair.
And I've been in the scene for a long time.
I'm checking credentials. No one's asking to see your.
Yeah, fuck you, Keith.
I could tell you some stories.
Sit down, Jurgen. But yeah. I'd be interested to see how this shapes up, and whether the poison will take, or if they roll high enough Constitution saving throw to ward off that poison.
I don't know as well. It's just that other thing of the other thing that like I personally come back to, which is just like if there was never and I've already been in this position before. Like I've already, as a Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 fan, been like, well, I guess that's all the Baldur's Gate games. Like, well, that's cool. Like, and it's cool. It's fine. Like, if there's no more Baldur's Gate games after this, that's cool too. Like, still got 3 and 1 and 2, right? Like, Larry and I'm going to go off and they're going to make something else, and I'm going to be like super invested in that because I've played a lot. I want to say all of their games. I don't think I've played all of their games. I've played a lot of their games. I enjoy them.
Is Larian a privately owned company, or is it owned by Hasbro?
They're completely independent.
Yeah, they're an independent company.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's why like during like the award season and stuff like that, they're like, well, Larian has to sweep. Like even the independent categories, they are literally the best indie game. There is no contest.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's how they get away with talking all that shit about corporations and layoffs and the industry in general. when they were accepting all of their little trophies that they absolutely earned.
And when the guys was coming out during to give the new trophy for the next director award.
Yeah.
But no, it's a poison chalice. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens, and we'll just go down the ever cycle that we always know what happens at the end of the day.
To Amy's point, Baldur's Gate 3 exists, as does the other two games, and it's still magical and always will be kind of thing, and will only be improved by patch 8, which will be like the swan song for it. And in my mind, it will be a game that features some of the most best written characters I've ever come across, and everybody there should be celebrated for their achievements. And
when you
good
hear
luck to you.
things of like, sorry, I spoke over you there. I apologize. When you hear things like like Baldur's Gate 3 is like, I'm going to use a Doctor Who reference, is for me is like a fixed point in time of like it hit perfectly for everybody for the most part. Like that it became just a massive phenomenon where everyone was praising, especially when it came to its writing. Praising the writing. I don't think I heard really a lot of people come out and say, I'm sure there's some people say I didn't really click with the writing or something like that, but for the most part, everyone was saying the writing is brilliant and whatnot. But then you hear these days from multiple different things from either sides and everything like that, from many different type of games, like the last Dragon Age. Was thinking, I heard people say, the writing's awesome, but then some people are saying, no, the writing was really bad. And it's like with the next Assassin's Creed what's come out. Some are saying the writing's really bad, but some are also saying it's really good. And I'm just like, that's the thing about it, that when you've got a game that basically hits that niche for basically the majority of all fandom, I think that's what basically where Baldur's Gate 3 succeeded for a lot of people. Yeah, you still had a lot of people crying about the bloody the pronouns on the starting thing, and if you can however you want to design your character and whatnot. But overall, people just had fun with the game and had a great time with it, and and those people we just mostly ignored because the love for this game
100%,
was completely just outshouted them, and that was beautiful to hear. They were outshouted for once, and that's great. And whatnot.
It's almost like there's a lesson in there that if instead of talking about what grifters are talking about a game, if you just talk about the game instead, maybe we're onto something here. But in all seriousness, the writing was really good. Like I was texting Vitz like while I was playing it or while you were playing it, because I think that I played it first.
You played it first, and then I was playing
because I didn't have an epilogue and you did.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was texting you as it was going on, and you were telling me about all this stuff, and I was like, make sure you go and do this one thing. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but go and do this one thing. And then he did it. We had a great laugh about that particular side quest with the amazing song. But if you like Baldur's Gate 3, a great thing to do would be to go back and play the Divinity games, like especially the original Sin games. Original Sin 2 is one of the greatest CRPGs ever made.
Yeah. You'll be able to pick that up for it'll be on sale all the time, and I'm sure platforms
like 10,
like
15 pounds.
Prime have given it away at some point as well. So I may have claimed those back in the day. I'll have to.
Well, as a cool person who already owns cool games, I wouldn't know because I didn't need to pick it up for free because I already owned it because I'm just that cool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like, what's that smell? But they're really good games, like good precursors to sort of that Baldur's Gate 3 thing. Yeah, go Larian. I look forward to the next game.
Hell yeah.
And
day one.
And I remember hearing that Hasbro were incredibly difficult to work with, which does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yes.
Aren't they owned by Warner Bros? So yeah, across there.
I don't know.
Don't know if they're owned by them, but at least they work with them, don't they? Oh no, that's Paramount. I think Paramount. Transformers movies and everything like that. That's all Paramount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Paramount just got the distribution rights for the movies.
I'm pretty sure most of their movies have been put out on Paramount, like Dungeons and Dragons.
You're the movie expert, so I'll defer to you 100%.
I'm not 100%, But
Yeah.
I might be. So if I'm incorrect, just tell us in the comments. I won't read it, and Amy will probably block it if it's rude.
She will. Sorry. You mentioned Transformers, and I was doing that one Linkin Park song in my head again.
Which one? Does all films have
The
Linkin
one
Park songs?
where
Yeah,
they did the
What I've
meme
Done.
where it's like
Yeah.
if this came out in 2000 and whatever it was,
yeah.
one of my favorite running jokes on the internet.
Yeah.
There's so many good.
I still
edits.
see that sometimes. It is funny.
I sometimes go back and watch some of my favorite ones. There was a one for Yakuza, which was good, and there was one for Halo 2, which was good. I enjoy them. I enjoy it. Yeah, shitposting can sometimes be very good. It's always an art form.
It is an art form.
It
There's
is an
no doubt
art
about it. Yeah. Some get it right, some don't.
But yeah, no, we'll have to figure out how to force Moody to play Baldur's Gate 3 somehow.
There'll be some charity way the way.
I'm sure, yeah. I mean, he's playing Elden Ring, right? Like,
There you go.
he looks. Yeah. Mhm. How do I block people on Discord? Cool. Sick.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Doodle-doo.
I almost had to block my cousin when he jumped into Pixel Pop Stars too.
That was funny.
That was funny.
That was good. I like that.
It was funny as fuck.
Let's do a bit of an indie game of the week before we transition into half time. This is the thing, if you don't know, we do every week, where we talk about a cool looking upcoming indie game that we think looks cool and we think you should wish list. If you like indie games, scroll on down to the description wherever you're choosing to listen to and or watch this podcast. Not only will you find the link to this week's indie game of the week that you can click and go and check out, but we also have a Steam curator page down there which has a list of all of our previous indie games of the week, which is well over 100 indie games at this point. There's a lot of indie games on there. I was scrolling through it the other day. Woof. Woo. It's a lot of indie game goodness, but you should click on that. Maybe check out some indie games that you might have missed, or ones that haven't come out yet. But for now, this week's indie game of the week is called .45 Parabellum Bloodhound. Which is a new world and characters from the award-winning studio that brought you cyberpunk bartender action Valhalla. I'm not saying it like it's written. Follow the raw tale of Rayla Mikazuchi, a killing machine emerging from depression, looking to rebuild her life doing what she knows best. A path well traveled where the consequences are known, but is her biggest foe really in front of her gun? And then it talks about some other stuff. But basically, the thing that drew me to this game, apart from the pedigree of the developer, the previous game, is the combat system seems heavily inspired
It's Parasite Eve.
by Parasite Eve.
For audio listeners, like looking at the kind of the gameplay GIF they have on the Steam page, it comes up with like a the views of the crystal maze. You'll understand this. Essentially, like a half a crystal maze dome on top of them as a wireframe, and then they go about their kind of John Wick business, as it was.
Gotta run around, you
John
dodge
Wick
your
was my
attacks.
vehicle to understanding what the word Parabellum meant in the first place. So that's why I'm putting that from.
It's Parasite Eve. If you ever played the original Parasite Eve, it'll look very familiar. And that's cool because for some reason they only did that in the first one, and then weirdly not in the sequel, but in a completely different Square Enix RPG. I think it was Vagrant Story. They like took that combat style and just put it in that game, and those are the only two times it ever happened, and that's kind of disappointing.
Do they talk about sperm in the Vagrant Story too?
Don't know. I haven't played Vagrant Story. It's on the list. Though.
Next one.
It's on the list. Now that I've got my computer, my mid-range gaming PC that can handle Avowed, hooked up to a 30-year-old CRT TV. Because that's just something I did. Like, on my right, I've got a 4K TV. On my left, I've got a 480 TV. Which one's she going to hook the computer up to? Obviously, the 480. But yeah, no, like, I'm down for more Parasite Eve. Like, there was a lot of potential in that gameplay style that was left unexplored, I feel. So the fact that like a developer that's made a really cool game that I enjoyed previously is going to have a crack at it. It's very exciting.
That is
Yeah,
very
and
very
looking at
exciting.
the system specs, it'll run on a potato. So don't worry
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
That's the other thing I like about indie games, unlike Avowed. It's like
mean,
when I'm running Avowed, I have to kind of
get in
just
the way.
like I just kind of have to like look under my desk every now and again, just be like,
Uh-huh.
"Yep, that's not on fire. We're good."
It's toasty though.
My feet are warm.
Exactly.
Indie games, fine, forget about it. But that's
Yeah,
indie
the
game
art
of the
style
week.
looks really good. Like there's PS1 era textures all over the place, and yeah,
I'm enjoying the PS1 resurgence
yeah, the
we're
Renaissance.
having. There's a lot, like it's always been a thing for a few years now, but like I feel like there's more of a thing. Like there's a lot more games coming out in the near future. Or have just recently been released where it's like, yeah, we're doing PS1 graphics. I'm like, great, like and I admit it's a pure nostalgia thing. From a nostalgia that hits me in the nostalgia because the PS1 was the first console I actually like got into, as opposed to just like the ones before I had, and there were games and I had fun, but they didn't have Final Fantasy and Resident Evil, so I didn't care as much, or Parasite Eve, but yeah, I'm enjoying the new Renaissance in PS1 visuals, and that someone's taking another stab at Parasite Eve, probably with less sperm talk, maybe.
Oh, we'll see. Time will tell.
We'll see. That was in the game of the week. Point 45, Parabellum, Bloodhound. Go wishlist that game. It looks pretty cool. Shall we take a halftime break?
Let's do that.
Try and recharge those batteries. Maybe. Or at least get them up to a level where we won't crash out until we've finished the podcast. Let's do that. All right, cool. We'll see you all on the other side.
Base.
What's up, everybody? Amy here to quickly tell you about our live streams over at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. If you like listening to this podcast for some reason, then you should head over to our Twitch channel every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Whether it's watching me play something weird or old, or weird and old, watching Moody play some kind of Pokemon, watching Vitz brave their fears, or just watching us all shoot the shit, the possibilities are endless. Well, not endless, but there are a lot of them. So come hang out with us. Twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames, Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And we're back. Are we back? We're back. OBS was like, are we back?
Are we back?
The counter started moving, but it still said paused. And it was like,
It's like you ask us, but that's a you question, Amy.
I'm asking. I mean, I was looking directly at OBS when I said it. I was asking OBS. I was like, "Hey, be cool. We've already lost one podcast this year. Be cool."
Mm-hmm.
Hi, welcome back to this totally awesome podcast that is very professional.
Very, very professional. So professional, we put the P in professional.
By peeing all over everything. Whose turn is it? Oh, it's mine. Bollocks. So I burned my brain out making a video for a few weeks back there. So like when it came time to be like, hey, you need to think of something to talk about for the podcast, Harry, I was like, cool, I got nothing. But I have been playing Avowed to chill out. So I guess I'll talk about Avowed. This is probably going to be more of a ask me anything than necessarily I have a bunch of notes here. Let me read through them all. So basically what I'm saying is help me. Help me. Podcast
sure.
You're my only hope. But yeah, I've been playing Avowed, which is came out last month, I think. It's the first-person fantasy RPG made by Obsidian Entertainment, one of my favorite developers. And you are in the world of Eorza? One of the two.
Eorza, maybe?
It's one of those two, which is the world that they created in the Pillars of Eternity series. Except instead of being a CRPG, it's now a first-person RPG. I've seen it compared to Skyrim, which, I mean, okay, sure. It looks like Skyrim in terms of, like, the perspective. Yeah. Except I don't like Skyrim, and I do like this, so I don't know how good those comparisons are actually, like, one-to-one. But you play a godlike, a character who is born into the world, and they've been touched by one of the gods. But your character doesn't know which one.
Like in an inappropriate way, or
like no, not in an inappropriate. No, it's not like we don't need to call. We don't need to get the doll out and.
Okay.
Will the Roman Empire be coming in later on?
I don't know.
Doing some stakes, carrying a giant thing.
There's a lot. There's a lot of the living lands that I still haven't explored yet. So maybe.
So there might be a cross somewhere.
Could be, yeah, sure. But
anybody called Pontius.
you are adopted by the emperor of a distant land and sent. They're trying to colonize in the bad way.
So it's Prince of Egypt.
Okay, let me finish some sentences before we get to the Ask Me Anything. They've sent a bunch of people over to the Living Lands, which is like the wild frontier of Eosa, to try and bring order and stability to the land, which the people don't like for some reason. But there's also this thing going on called the Dream Scourge, which is fucking up the land like really badly and starting to fuck up the people really badly. So you've gone there as the Emperor's envoy to investigate the Dream Scourge, figure out what's going on, and maybe try and stop it, while all this other shit's going on in the background with, like... It's essentially like a colonizer story. It's like, hey, this empire has sent all of their troops over here to impose their own order, and we don't like that. It's not subtle in terms of its themes and story, which I kind of appreciate. I kind of appreciate, because it turns out when you put things like that into your game subtly, idiots on YouTube and the internet can pretend it never happened.
Yeah, it goes right over there.
But yeah, I've played about 10-ish hours of it. It's not an open world game. It's one of those RPGs where it's like you get these big zones to explore, and then like as you move through the story, you got different zones. I've done the first zone. I've moved on to the second zone, and like I've seen howlongtobeat.com says you could do this game in 17 hours, which is intriguing.
I imagine that's strict golden pathing.
I feel like that must be strict golden pathing.
And not chilling while you're doing it.
Well, not even like doing like all of the side quests and all of the like, there's a lighthouse. Is there something up this lighthouse? And then you climb the lighthouse, and then you fall off trying to get a backpack, and then you climb up it again, and find like treasure and stuff. Like it's an interesting way to play an RPG, but I feel like it's going to take me a lot longer than that to finish.
Yeah. So. All of my questions are from anecdotal conversations I've gleaned, but I think one of the characters of your party members are voiced by a familiar person.
Yes,
you may know as Garrus Vakarian. Tell me about them.
The first, so you get two temporary companions in the tutorial. There's like a level that you finish before you actually get to, which introduces like the story and the gameplay mechanics, and then the first companion that you get pretty early on is basically Garrus. Like it's impossible not to just be like, oh, it's Garrus, but he's bald and blue now.
Well, he's blue before.
He's not a chicken this time.
No, he's not. He's got very smooth skin. Got some abs going, like very low cut top going on.
I'm
like
sure there was abs under there when he was Garrus.
There probably were like scaly abs under there, but he always wore that big armor, so you never saw his abs. Like there was no low cut tops going on. Like the deep V's of Captain Picard is what I would classify. Blue Garrus.
That's a true captain right there.
But yeah, he's your first companion. There's not, from what I've read, there's only 4 permanent companions that you can recruit. None of them are romanceable, and quite frankly, good.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of over for the moment. I'm kind of burned out on like having to like juggle like, oh, which character am I going to romance? Oh, like no, now this one likes me. Like whereas it's just like, nah, you just all buds. You just all bros on a fantasy journey. It's kind of nice to just like talk to people and not have to think about what I'm saying in terms of like how would the character I'm playing say it, but not in terms of like I would like to see you naked.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
How can I get into your pants faster?
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Your pants are still on. This is a problem.
So for most of the character creations I've seen of the player characters, they've got some form of cordyceps / mushroom fungi stuff going on. What did you do with your character?
It's a very mushroom focused game.
Okay.
Which sounds ridiculous when you say
mushrooms.
that. But yeah, no, it's like there's mushrooms everywhere, like giant mushrooms. Like, I mean,
Are they friendly?
They're still well, some of them are. Some of them are fauna, and some of them might be less than friendly. But that's the mark of the godlike, which is like it's like all of the different like stuff that you're seeing on someone's face. It's like you have to choose something. So I went with like these like weird like flower like looking things around my eyes. You can turn them off so that you don't see them in like conversations, but even if you do that, characters still react to them because they're a part of they're actually a part of like the story,
right?
Like because you get reacted to as a god like a lot, because there's not very many of you. They all died mysteriously in the past. And apparently it's a big deal that you exist, but also don't know which god is your patron god, I guess.
Wait, they're not handing out pamphlets when you picked out?
No, it's actually got an interesting sort of mythos around it, where it's like it's all based on like the wheel, they call it, where it's like when you die, your soul basically goes to the wheel, and it's like a giant queue. That it's like a giant reincarnation queue where it's like you just wait for a while and then you get reincarnated into a new life.
A lot of kind of similarities to like Buddhism in there.
Yeah, I guess. Not knowing a ton about Buddhism, I'm just going to defer to.
Sure. Okay. Cool stuff. So, what were your feelings when it came to the vibes of your party? These characters that you get along with. Do you like how they interact with you? Is it more like kind of static in terms of the relationship that you're building with them in terms of you don't really talk to me about the relationship that you're building in your party. So one of the things I really value in RPGs is kind of the camaraderie you form with your gang, as it were.
Yeah, so like you spend a lot of time with Blue Garrus. I'll remember his name before the end of this segment. Like alone, so it's just the two of you. And then as you progress the main plot line, you meet another character. And I've met another character who I think when I meet them again, they will join my party. But for now, like they've gone to the city that I'm on my way to. And you can do something whenever you're making a major choice in the game. You can ask for their opinions, like whoever's with you, and they'll just give them to you, which I think is a nice sort of like check and balance, where it's like, I don't really know what I feel about this thing you've just sprung on me. let me just ask my two bros here.
But the people who have context in this world, rather than you for Shadow Order story,
yeah. But like you know this world, I don't know this world. I never played Pillars of Eternity. And Moody has unplugged his headphones and caused a massive echo. That's better. Thank you, Moody. It's really off-putting hearing yourself talking with a delay.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry about that. Like, I was just like, whoa. Yeah, so you spend like they make a lot of comments when you're out and about doing like questing and doing other stuff. Like they weigh in sometimes when you're having conversations out in the world, which is something that doesn't happen in like every RPG. So I kind of like that aspect of it, but most of the time you're interacting with them at the party camp. It's like when you go back to the Normandy and talk to all of your people and stuff. But Avowed has this cool system where it's like you've got the lore-centric questions, the history questions. So you're like, hey, tell me about your past. Tell me about where you came from. Whenever a character has something to say to you, like based on probably something that you've done or something that's happened in the story, you get a little icon on the screen. So you know that that person will say something unique to you the next time you interact with them back at camp, which is a nice touch. Because one of the things that always bores me in Mass Effect is having to do the lap.
Yes, where you speak to
everyone, just in case.
Yeah.
Like, you've got something new, and then Garrus is always like, I'm sorry, I'm doing calibrations. And it's like, why won't you talk to me?
Exactly. All we need is like an exclamation mark above their heads.
Yeah, which is, you kind of get that in this game, which I kind of like. But the relationship...
If he didn't recalibrate those guns, you would have died at the end of Mass Effect 2, okay?
Who says I didn't?
We survived in my watch.
The relationship that they built, like the two party members have conversations with each other at camp as well. And they know each other, like, so they have their own relationship as well as you having that relationship. And like, it's very choice based, right? It's like, what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be a dick? Do you want to be like merciful? Do you want to be like stone cold killer? Like, so I imagine it can like vary quite a lot depending on how you approach the world. I've made some interesting choices.
Talk to me about the kind of moment-to-moment gameplay loops and the combat. How does that feel? Because first person, like especially melee combat, has never felt great to me. So I'm keen to see if you're leaning towards that. Are you shooting magic at everybody, or what's your kind of playstyle you're leaning towards?
Doing the fucking opposite.
Yeah, so my primary weapon is a pistol.
Okay.
Which still a fantasy game. It's like a one-shot, like reload gunpowder,
like a musket type
pistol.
thing.
Yeah, you can get a rifle as well.
Okay.
But it's very highly customizable. So you unlock abilities. Like every time you level up, you get an ability point that you can put in sort of an ability that will give you something passive, like. I've got one which increases damage with guns and bows, or something active, which is like there's one where it's like I can summon roots to tangle an enemy, so they immobilize them for a short time. But the damage of a weapon that you're using is based on one stat. It's based on the weapon and like the DPS of the weapon, but it's based on one stat that you can put points into, which is might, and that governs everything. So like every weapon that you use apart from magic, which is governed by intellect. So like I could put my gun away and pull out a sword, and the sword's still going to do good damage because my might is high.
Right, okay.
Which again is a really nice feature. But I haven't used the melee combat too much. Like it felt quite good in the tutorial, but I mean as soon as I got my hands on a gun, I was gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna use this gun. Because I have a gun. And it turns out it's fun to use the gun.
Absolutely, you put a gun in Amy's arms, this war's over.
Yeah. So you have your two hands, and like you can put a two-handed weapon in them, or you can just put whatever like in each hand. So I have my gun in my right hand, which it's all based around precision shots. So you hold the mouse button down to do like an aim. And then you get the weak point of an enemy come up, and like you target the weak point to do more damage, as opposed to just. And then I started blasting, because you won't do as much damage that way.
Yeah.
And in my left hand, I have a grimoire, which is basically a spell book, and the way spell casting works in the game is also very cool and interesting because I didn't need to put any points into unlocking spells. Instead. I have a book in my hand with 4 spells in it. And I can cast any one of those 4 spells as long as I'm holding the book.
Oh, okay. So there's no like mana system to manage or anything like that?
Yeah, there's like a mana system.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you like to because otherwise I just spam magic, right?
Yeah, you're spamming spells left, right, and center.
And there's cooldowns on the spells. But like you can spend your ability points to unlock spells. So like once you've got a grimoire with fireball in it, you can permanently unlock Fireball as a spell. And then you don't have to have the book that has the Fireball in it. Or you can just keep the book with the Fireball in it and use it whenever you want. Yeah. Because I've been sort of primarily focusing on using like ranged weaponry. Like it's nice to have the spell book and just know like I can cast these 4 spells and they will do decent damage because again it's based on might, not on anything else. And like in the moment to moment, it's quite fun. Like you get a dodge. I've got a lot of abilities and spells to like immobilize enemies, so it's like, oh, that guy's getting a bit close, like let me just like use ice to freeze him and then keep shooting him. But like as far as the melee combat goes, I don't know because I haven't used it very much. It felt quite nice for the 10-15 minutes that I used it before the game gave me a ranged weapon. Maybe I'll dive into it because I can without penalty. Which is a nice feature.
No, absolutely.
And you've got your companions as well to do shit. And you can set it so they'll use their own abilities on their own, or you can put their abilities on the hotbar as well and tell them what to do.
Fair enough. Moods, anything from you?
How's the writing so far for you? I'm hearing always like the same, like what about the
both sides of the
both sides.
coin.
Yeah, some are saying it's really good. I know from Kind of Funny, I believe Greg and can't remember
someone else.
I apologize. Cortez.
Andy,
thank you. Didn't like the writing, I believe. Vitz, you could correct me if I'm wrong there. I can't fully remember, but I don't believe they enjoyed the writing so far. What are your thoughts on it so far? But also like some like. Peter Paris loved it. Like he gave it a 9 out of 10. He said the writing was great. He loved it, and etc. So like, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, for my money, it's Obsidian writing, so it's pretty good as like a baseline. I like and I know you can go in 100 different directions in an RPG like this with dialogue options. You know me, bit sarcastic, bit jovial. Don't take things too seriously unless it's an extremely serious situation. That's kind of like my role-playing default that I've kind of stuck to. So I'm enjoying, like, it's quite breezy and quite light. And then there are moments where it's like, I'm going to take this seriously. And that writing is also quite good. It's very slow. And part of that is because I'm just exploring around, right? So, like, but there's a character, like, so to put it in context, there's a character in the game who you hear about a lot before you meet them. For a few hours before I met them, I was hearing about them, and I was like, I can't wait to meet this character. This character seems like really important to this whole colonizer side of the storyline, which is the side of the storyline I'm more interested in than necessarily the Dream Scourge or whatever. And then they blew into a scene I was in, and I was like, let's go. And then we had like this cool scene, and then she went away, and I haven't seen her for several hours, and I'm like, no, come back. Because I know you're going to be important. Like, let's just start your storyline right now. So I think there is a bit of a pacing issue in that way, which is partially on me for wanting to thoroughly explore the game, but I think it also is like partially on the game as well, where it's like, can we like speed things up a little bit here?
That's like an open world trope in general, isn't it? It's like it all comes down to like ultimately down to like if you're holding back and doing all the things, no wonder the story kind of gets forgotten about.
It is,
but if you blast through it straight away, it's really not sure if you're really absorbing the game type of thing.
It is partially that, like, for sure. I think it is like in terms of like you get like multiple steps. There's not very many main quests, but they have like a lot of different like steps, as opposed to like having lots of different main quests. And it's like the way I would like describe the pacing as being poor from the game's end is like doing some stuff for a quest and then having a scene which is just like, this isn't really doing much, you know what I mean? And then like knowing it's another 30 to 45 minutes of main questing before I'm going to get the next scene. What's really interesting about the writing and like the quest design of the game is some of the side quests are pretty standard. You get a bounty board, go kill this guy. You go kill the guy, you come back and get your reward. There's other side quests where it's like, help, I've lost my walking stick or whatever, and you run off and like you do like a short dungeon, or you just like find a thing and then you bring it back. Like I completed one side quest, 2/3 of one side quest by accident before I'd even found the NPC, because I'd found items just randomly dotted about, and then the third part of that quest was literally just to go somewhere, talk to a person, and then come back. But then you get these other side quests, like there's this one where some dude finds you in the city And it's like, oh, I've been injured. We were on an expedition. My brother is still there, and he's been hurt. And you go like, all right, fine. I guess I'll go and help you because I'm a protagonist in an RPG. Which way did he go? This way. Cool. And then you get there, and it's like an hour and a half, like massive dungeon thing. Like you go down, and then there's like a character at the bottom, like law-shattering implication conversations, and like a major choice to be made. And I'm like, this is a side quest, right? And then you pull out the thing, and you're like, this is a side quest. What the hell? So it's very interesting from that perspective, and it's one of the reasons why I'm not doing side quests, because it's like any one of these could be could be like this big thing, and like I really enjoyed that side quest. But then like the other one is just like, oh, it's a cave. There's a spider in the cave. Oh, I killed the spider, and now I have this thing. Let me just go and give it to this person, and the quest is over. So it's very interesting. And then there was this big guy who was like, don't start any shit in my part of town, or I'm gonna get you. And then I started some shit in his part of town, and like. It wasn't like a quest thing. It was just like I was like talking to this guy, and we finished talking, and some shit was started because like they were trying to kill him. So I killed the guys that were trying to kill the person I was talking to, and I thought, I wonder if that counts. And then I turned around, and a big boy was walking up the stairs, and I was like, oh shit. This is what we call unintended consequences of my actions. Mm-hmm. And that was a fun moment too. So there's a lot of fun moments to be found. But I think it comes down to there's two parts of the main narrative, with like the Dream Scourge and the more political aspect of it. And whereas I'm vibing more with the political aspect of it, the other stuff with the Dream Scourge intrigues me in terms of like plot revelations. There's one very funny plot twist, a few hours in where something happens. It's just like the way you can approach that for the rest of the game in terms of like how you talk about it is very funny. But it's like, it's intriguing, but I'm not necessarily like, I want to know more about this part of it. It's like, no, I want to know more about this other part of it. And every time I'm not knowing about that part of it, I'm like, can we get back to this other thing though? I like this part more.
Knowing you've got other games coming up soon, and I know one is very important for you, do you think you'll finish this?
I don't know. We'll see where I land. Like, Atomfall comes out in 7 days, and I'm excited for that game. After reading the previews for it, and I know Blueprints is out on the 10th of April, and that's like, drop everything. I'm going to play this for however long I'm playing it for. But like, I'm fine with playing it. Like, there's other games that have already come out, whereas like I could play those, you know. And so far, I have sat down and played more Avowed. I'll probably play more Avowed tomorrow, because I haven't got anything, like I've got anything on, and like I'm still interested to keep playing. Like, I'm hoping to hit that moment, right, where the game just goes, okay, here's what's actually going on, and it just blows my mind, and I'm like, fucking, let's go, like, let's fucking go. Like, Obsidian have kind of like earned that trust with me from all of their past games, where I've been like super into Pentiment, super into Fallout New Vegas, you know, like super into something else that they made. Neverwinter Nights 2. Outer Worlds, yes. So like I will keep playing it. I'm not bored. Like,
hell yeah.
Good time, but not a great time so far.
That's what I'm hearing for the most part. Like, it's a good time, but it's not a great time. And I'm just like, don't know if I'll come around. I don't think I'll get around to that.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I like to tailor like any recommendations I have to the people I'm speaking to, and like if it was right now, like I would be like, it's probably not worth your time unless you're really into the idea of the gameplay. The gameplay is phenomenal. It's very, very fun.
Like, I'm kind of the opposite when it comes to who's the studio again for this?
Obsidian Entertainment.
Obsidian, thank you. I know you just said it, but my brain literally was like, Larian? No, it's not Larian.
You should play their games too. They're another favorite.
Well, I've tried some Obsidians. They haven't clicked with me. Like, I tried Outer Worlds. I thought that was boring, repetitive, really fast. I haven't tried Vegas. I know that. New Vegas. I know that's one you always go down to and everything. Pentiment, going off what you were telling me about it, I was just like, yeah, that doesn't scream like a game for me and everything like that. And this one's literally saying the same thing for me, which Like right now, with how my bloody tastes are right now, it's insane. I don't think I'll really get to anything for it. Like, I don't even know when my first Western game's going to be this year. And that's insane for me to think of that.
I'm trying to
Still a
think.
good time, but at least I think with Avowed, if you did want to try it, then at least the barrier to entry is low, right? Because
It's
on
Game Pass.
and,
Well, that's how I'm playing it at the moment.
Yeah.
So, because like, yeah, again, it was that thing of like, well, this is out and this is coming out and this is coming out and this, fuck it, I'll just pump for a couple of months of Game Pass.
No, yeah, we talked about last week. Yeah, that what you were saying last week for it was completely understandable. If there's some couple of games that you're coming up that like a back to back that deserve the warrant the price for it. I think so.
I'm glad I'm playing it on PC as well. Like, I'm glad my PC
way you can do it.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't fancy this game on a controller.
Oh, you're playing the mouse and keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me how it looks on your TV, on your CRT TV.
I haven't opened it on my Jesus. I haven't opened it on my CRT TV. Jesus.
Oh, sorry.
Good God. No, but it does look really, really pretty. Like, what's funny is, like, every time you camp and then you wake up, you start at the daytime. And like, I'd gone through a few cycles of like exploration and doing stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe like night is for camping, and whenever you're out and about in the world, it's day. Like, maybe the game doesn't have like a traditional day and night cycle. And it turns out I just wasn't exploring long enough before camping, because when I went into a dungeon and I came out and it was night, I went from, this game looks really nice. And again, I'm grading on the curve of, I have to turn off ray tracing and set the thing to medium to not cook myself. But still looks really pretty. But then at night, the game looks fucking incredible. Like, it's like a lot of fantasy games recently, and I say recently, like of the last 10, 15 years, are kind of like stuck in the same sort of like visual, they've got the same sort of visual identity, right? They don't use a lot of the color palette. Avowed uses a lot of the color palette. It's an incredibly colorful, bright game, especially at night when like you've got all the mushrooms like lighting things up and stuff, and you've got these lighthouses at all of the towns, and they've got this purple light going, and it's just like, it's good.
I will say from the box art alone, it looks like it's a vibrant, colorful game. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's a nice touch, because like we've moved into this sort of era of like the grimdark, gritty sort of fantasy, and like Avowed isn't that, but then it like you say, it's a very vibrant, very colorful game, and I've only explored 2 biomes, like two areas. I know there's more because I can see the full world map, and I'm excited to see what other kind of weird places I can explore. Probably a lot of mushrooms in my future.
As long as they're friendly.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure they will be. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, cool. Avowed. Pick it up if any of that sounded good. Good time, but not a great time. That's my like review line. Put that on
your impressions line.
Yeah,
you haven't finished it.
Sorry, my impressions line. Like, put that on the box. Good, but not
Apparently, the game doesn't have a photo mode, and it's criminal that it doesn't. With how good it looks.
I wouldn't dare try.
I'm sick of fucking games with photo modes. What the hell is it with these things?
I've only ever I've played a lot of games.
I've never touched them.
I have never used a photo mode, except in No Man's Sky, where go like whenever I play at No Man's Sky, I go completely fucking psycho on photo mode on that game, and I don't know why. Like, but I've made 100 incredible looking screenshots on that game. But then like any other game, I'm just like, I might take a picture, and then I'm just like, whatever, what's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm one for taking screenshots, not so much photo mode.
I mean, most of the games I play, I record just in case. That, So maybe that's why.
We'll see.
But yeah,
it's just a feature that doesn't make sense to me. That was like, why would you want it in it? But needs a must, I guess. Some people are obviously using it to keep it. The numbers of using it must be high enough for the companies to keep it in there. And everything. So.
It gives people, reason to spend more time in the game, and then, with photo mode, they can potentially see more of the hard work that the team has put into, like putting the character models together, the environments and things like that. That maybe hasn't or doesn't typically get shown off so much in gameplay. So, yeah.
I don't know.
Those are my Avowed impressions. I don't know if with like all of the games that are coming out in the near future, and the fact that we only do this once a week, I was like, I don't know if by the time I finish it, I'm gonna have a chance to review it. So I thought I'll talk about it today.
No, you've done it impressions. If it's in your end of the year discussion,
I've got to play 10 games for that first. I'm going to play it and enjoy 10 games.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got thoughts on that.
You've said, you know, it's March. Any thoughts that you have, if you've vocalized them and don't write them
will
down,
be completely forgotten about. I know that. Yeah.
Yes.
I know. That's why I haven't brought it up.
Speaking of bringing things up, Moody,
Smooth segue.
An interesting segue. Yeah.
you've got your topic to do.
Yes, I do. So Ubisoft, yeah. We love talking about Ubisoft. How great is Ubisoft? Best company out there, apparently, yeah. I don't know. I'm taking a piss there. It's reportedly considering a Tencent-backed future for Assassin's Creed and more of its IPs. This is from the VGC. Ubisoft is said to be looking at investors for the new gaming group that would house some of its biggest IPs. According to a new report, Chinese giant Tencent is said to be one of the potential backers for the new venture, that would control franchises like Ubisoft staples, a staple Assassin's Creed. Excuse me. Bloomberg has claimed that the company has asked for bids to be made as soon as at the end of this month, citing sources familiar to the deal. Ubisoft didn't comment on when they approached, but referred Bloomberg to its latest earnings last month. Bloomberg first reported on the potential new entity, which would see the French giant focus more on core IP like Assassin's Creed. The Gilmore family currently owns 14% of the Ubisoft shares, while Tencent owns 9.99%. Last October, Bloomberg reported that Tencent and the Gilmores have been speaking with advisors to explore ways to stabilize Ubisoft. Following a year in which its market value more than halved, in a current reading, it is at 13.08 at the current market. It has gone back up just a little bit, but obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows has just released for that. Those discussing were said to have included the possibility of the pair teaming up to take Ubisoft private, although talks were said to be at an early stage at that time. A Reuters reports. Sorry? Reuters, thank you, sir. Reports published in December claimed that Ubisoft shareholders were considering how to structure a possible buyout of the company without reducing the Gilmore family's control. Tencent was claimed to be undecided over whether to participate in that buyout and increase its stake in the company, reportedly because it has asked for a greater say on future board decisions. According to the place, discussions between the two are ongoing, as Tencent also wants to preserve any potential hostile takeover of Ubisoft by other investors. Well, this has also been going on as well. I've got other articles up here as well for Ubisoft investors grilled the CEO and the CFO on a potential Tencent sale delays with financial woes. Going further into the article, both Yves Gilmore and Frederick Dunget were answering calls with the shareholders throughout the when this article came out, which was January 9th. This was one I'm reading from Vector Valentine at IGN. They were completely ripped apart of asking what to form by the shareholders for that. On top of that, the shareholders apparently, this is also from IGN, by Vicky Blake. 13th of March this came out, just last week. Shareholders are plotting protests outside the Paris HQ, according to the company, of failing to reveal discussions with Microsoft, EA, and other allegations alleged interested in acquiring IPs. Disgruntled Ubisoft invested call on Assassin's Creed maker to go private as shareholders are slumping in everything, and it just seems like it's continuing to go down and down and down for Ubisoft. But on top of that, obviously, they've still with the allegations that have obviously hit the company like crazy. They've got 3 former employees right now going through the courts right now. Obviously, with that, this one is 3 former top executives from French video game Ubisoft went to trial on Monday, March 10th, accused of psychological and sexual harassment employees for nearly a decade. That right now, this was from Le Modern, the article, and this right now the trial has been adjourned until June and everything like that. But like Ubisoft right now, like they've just been, I think we've said it before, for the last decade they've been on a slow decline of I think people enjoying their games, but also people even having faith in them to even run the company well, put out great games, to put out to look after their employees and everything, which they've clearly shown they haven't. And just also going back to like the Gilmore family, especially Yves Gilmore, just how implicit is he and complicit to everything that's happened is he under and everything. So Ubisoft is like, I don't know if going private and getting bought out by Tencent is the correct thing or anything like that. At the end of the day, something will happen. I think that's inevitable when it comes to Ubisoft. I don't know if that means the Gilmore family just get kicked out altogether, Tencent take over, or they get kind of just picked apart. Like one article, like I said, like Microsoft have inquired about IPs, EA have inquired about IP and everything like that. Do they just become eventually just picked apart for their IPs, like what they've kind of like already kind of ventured out with? What are your thoughts? I'll go to you, Vitz, first. What are your thoughts, sir?
To be like a fire sale happening at Ubisoft at the moment, where the valuation is going down, and that seems to be their North Star in terms of the only thing that matters to them, being a corporation. And yeah, as you mentioned, like Eaglemon has been involved in hundreds of allegations of terribleness, and I hope that they're brought to justice on each and every one of those counts. Yeah, Ubisoft have like a ton of IP in their stable that they just haven't done anything with. So if we take like Splinter Cell, for example, and how many people now, this may just be the vocal minority talking about Splinter Cell and, you know, how long it's been since we've had a last one and what are they doing with the IP. And they've tried to do, you know, live service, like hero shooters and things like that. And they've come and gone. And Assassin's Creed seems to be the only IP that holds value within that stable at the moment. Amy, you've got props.
Which one? You told me to take
Yes.
Splinter Cell. Which one? I have all of them.
There you go. Yeah, so it's been a hot second since we've seen Sam Fisher or indeed any other person don the title or don be the protagonist of a Splinter Cell title, and it's one of these where yeah, the writing's been on the wall, as you say, Moody, for Ubisoft for many years at this point, and there's no way that they don't get bought out, and there's no way that a ton of people aren't going to get laid off by this, because if Tencent acquire the IP to Assassin's Creed, I don't think they're retaining any of their team. They're bringing all that stuff in-house because they have the means and the people to do all that stuff. Whether that's better or worse, time will only tell, kind of thing. But
yeah,
well, isn't that what the initial story was about? Aren't they building a new house?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's like the Gilmores still want to retain control either way. Even if they like pawn off some of their IP, they still want to control the IP, even though they aren't funding it. It sounds like it. Who really knows when it comes to it and whatnot? But yeah, what you were saying was like they have a ton of IP that they just haven't touched. Like how long? What the hell? What is beyond Good and Evil 2? Whatever that game is, who freaking really knows? I don't think they really know.
That game never existed. It was only done to bait people into trying to keep the
It was two
shareholders.
pre-rendered videos spaced out across what, like 8-9 years. It was like there was no game, and at any point, like a game was never shown.
It's Anthem all over again, isn't it? Even though they started before Anthem, which is weird.
No, this is pure vapor, and it's more smoke and mirrors from Ubisoft. And I don't know. I can only speak to my personal lived experience when it comes to Ubisoft, but through all the terrible allegations and things, I haven't purchased a Ubisoft title in many years, and I don't plan to. Whilst the Easygamon and the family stand to benefit, like in a financial capacity, and I'm sure they will get.
You're going to be not playing the Ubisoft game for a while. Sorry for talking over you then.
No,
because they'll agree to the
speak for yourselves.
Their negotiations that we will continue to reap revenue from our future games.
That's what they say. But who knows what happens at the French courts? And for everybody going out there protests, remain ungovernable. Please let your voice be known and get your point across. And
the shareholders who said they want to go out and protest them. I'm thinking, how bad is it if the shareholders want to go out and protest them? That's
who
insane.
holds the real power? It's shareholders, right? They're bringing the money in, they're bringing the investment, and they at the end of the day get the final say, regardless of what the family want to do. And they can talk all they want about wanting to retain possession. At the end of the day, it's when the roulette wheel of this whole like court case and this potential buyout stops, we'll see where the chips land, kind of thing. And it's one of these where Tencent are too big to come out of this as a loss. They have the clout to essentially do whatever they want in this deal, whether it involves putting several millions into this. That's fine. They've got the means to do that, and it won't be any sweat off their brow. To torture another metaphor, as it were. Through all of this, I just hope the Gilmore family get brought to justice.
Before I bring you in, Amy, I just wanted to say, like, if Tencent wanted to own Ubisoft, they would own Ubisoft. They have the money, they have the power to be able to do this if they wanted to. Sure,
but they don't want to. They only want the profitable parts of Ubisoft. They don't want to buy all the other baggage and have to farm that up and ship that off elsewhere. They want to buy piecemeal.
Well, they're a publicly traded company. You can't just like buy it off the dude who owns it. It's a whole thing with like you have to buy people's shares and get control of the company and do a whole thing. That's what a hostile takeover is.
What's it? The Gilmore family
was sniffing around.
The Gilmore family currently owns 14%. I'm guessing that's the biggest share out of everyone else compared to Tencent. Obviously, I'll just round up to 10% basically, because like. That's just 24%, almost 25% basically. So like, there's still 75% out there. If they wanted to get it, I'm sure people care about money. If they can just get someone comes out and say, "Here, I'll give you 10 million for your 1%." There, boom. The 9 times out of 10 people, the people who
but the share price is low right now. Like you just talked about it being halved. It's like if Ubisoft can put out a few bangers. Then that like they don't even necessarily have to be like Baldur's Gate 3 bangers, just perceived as bangers that sell a lot of money. Like their shares are worth more in keeping them than selling them.
Yeah, I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a very interesting game when it just comes to see what profit margin it has at the end of the day. Amy, what are your thoughts on this? I know capitalism, you love it. It's your favorite thing ever.
Play Splinter Cell, like.
Yeah, you can do that after the podcast.
Can I have another one add to this pile?
Oh,
the newest Splinter Cell says it's better with the Kinect sensor. That's how long ago that came out. But no, I don't know, like they have a lot of IP they're not doing anything with. Cool, everyone does at this point. Like we just had that conversation about PlayStation and Microsoft last week, right? It's like they got all this IP, they don't do anything with it. They just sit on it. So my thing with Ubisoft, we've been doing this for a long time. Talking about Ubisoft. It's just like I can't in good conscience say I was ever on a boycott of them, because I wasn't buying their games before the allegations emerged about their studio culture. I don't think I've bought any of their games since. but I don't really remember. Like, Ubisoft has become such an unmemorable company to me, which is strange considering, like, again, I have the complete collection of Splinter Cell in my hand, and like I think about like Watch Dogs 2 or like the early Assassin's Creed games being like some great games that I really loved. And then like in the last 8 years.
8 to 10 years, yeah. It's basically been a decade for them.
Like, I haven't really given a shit about anything that they've made. Like, The Division 2 was the last game I played last Ubisoft game I played, like, that was new, where I was like, I enjoy this. This is a fun game. And then, like...
That came out after Odyssey, did it?
I don't remember. Whenever I got my processor, it was because I wouldn't... The irony is I wouldn't have even played it if it didn't come free with my processor when I bought my processor. But it's a strange one. Like, it's a tough line to walk because we know that most, in theory, allegedly, most AAA companies are probably have or are continuing to engage in some form of toxic studio culture.
100%.
And you don't want to support that behavior. You don't want to support the executives and the people in charge who perpetuate that behavior. But there's a lot of really cool people work at these companies that are just trying to make some art. So it's always for me a case by case basis thing of just like support the artists, even if it means Yves Gilmour is going to get 14.4% of whatever money I put down for Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's not going to happen because I'm not going to buy it anyway. But
Splinter Cell that goes on
7. Yeah, whatever money I'm going to put down for Splinter Cell 7 if it ever comes out. But it's a messy thing as opposed to like Tencent buying them out. It will be worse. Like, if they go from a publicly owned to a privately owned company, we've seen it'll be a bloodbath. We've seen this so many times in the last like 5-10 years. Like, IPs getting farmed out to places like Microsoft, EA. It's like, cool, that means something might happen with the IPs, which is cool, but it's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen with the people that brought me these 6 games, right? It's gonna be a completely different thing, which is cool. Hey, maybe like Obsidian Entertainment will make the best ever Splinter Cell game or whatever. But it still sucks for the people who like created Assassin's Creed Shadows. If then Assassin's Creed Shadows becomes an EA franchise, are they going to bring like the Assassin's Creed team on? No, of course they're not. They're going to have their own team make it. Probably like that one guy who runs basically everything now. I can't remember his name. The Respawn guy, Vitz, whatever. That guy. Which would be a shame. Because I think as a game developer, it's impossible not to get invested in the things that you make. But as a top level kind of thing, setting aside like my overriding concern always being about game developers, I don't care about any of this. Like, oh, maybe Yves Gilmour will still own it, or maybe Tencent will own it. Bro, I don't give a shit. Like, whichever option saves the most jobs is the one that I am in support of. Like, but in terms of like getting a Splinter Cell game made by someone or getting an Assassin's Creed game made by someone, like, I don't really care. Like, I have my Splinter Cell games. They're very good. Apart from Conviction, they're very good. Like,
either one that what happens. Just say the ones that I put out say happen.
Well, it's like when
jobs we were still going to get lost, still going to lose.
It's like when we were in that protracted Activision Blizzard acquisition phase, right?
Yeah.
Like before it actually went through, where it was just like it's fucked either way, right? Because either Activision Blizzard is still going to be Activision Blizzard separately, an awful an allegedly awful company, continuing to do awful things, or they're going to get bought by Microsoft, who like their favorite Microsoft's company as a company's favorite pastime is laying thousands of people off. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's where my thought process of I don't really care what happens here, because either way it's going to suck.
Yeah, consolidation is never a good thing when it comes to the job security of people and people there at the moment, they might think, oh, getting bought by a multinational conglomerate might be a good thing because that might give you stability. But no, they have got people of their own that they're going to do with. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Gilmore family had been speaking to the Saudis as well to try and get them in a bit more.
I'm pretty sure we've reported on that. We've talked about that before.
To get them in a bit more between them and the Chinese company Tencent as well to kind of just ramp up the price, because their sole kind of focus at the moment is getting the most money out of this deal. It is in no way focusing on the well-being of their teams or anything like that. And we've seen them lay off hundreds of people as well and close studios left, right, and center. Now Ubisoft, they do have a ton of studios, and there is going to be some turnover when it comes to that in terms of scaling up and scaling down, like post when the project comes out, that kind of thing. But yeah, to your point, whoever wins, we all lose. To quote Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, especially the thing is about it is I think some people still think this is a good turn, but it's not. This is not a good turn for Ubisoft. It's when you hear the term of it's an Ubisoft game. We know what that means exactly, and it's basically what a lot of people here say with what the movie industry is, like Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, and everything like that. They're just throwing out the same old tripe over and over and over again, and it's the indie films, or for us in here, it's the indie games or AA games that really are the ones that deserve to be shined massive lights on, more than the AAA games are, because they are just same old things that are just all the time and everything like that. And I know I say that while I'm pretty much slaying the entire Yakuza franchise right now, which is basically the same thing right now a lot for a lot of things of how they.
But
do
yet you
things.
Play these games.
Yes.
Yes, we all play these games. Yes, we all have comfort games. Not everything we watch is going to be Severance, right? Sometimes you just want some comfort food, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, Splinter Cell is basically, apart from the... Hang on. These Splinter Cells are basically all the same game. And that's fun. That's cool. I like this game. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it kind of did have to change in its final two games. And yeah, sure, that one was bad. But this one was amazing. And it didn't change that much, but, it changed enough. The point is, there's... you can enjoy playing a Ubisoft game or a Yakuza game or a Halo game and still but still want the art form to improve. It's it's cool that we get these things that are the same, but it's when those things are the biggest things in the room, and then you just you keep getting people chasing the same experience over and over again, where it's that's how the art form becomes stale. Whereas and that's why things like Balatro or Astrobot or Disco Elysium can just come out of nowhere.
These overnight successes that take
years. These overnight successes that have come out of nowhere. Nobody had heard of these games beforehand. No, people were trying to scream about them beforehand. Baldur's Gate 3 came out of nowhere, even though it was in early access for 3 years. But
I did prove the point that I did not know about that game.
No,
whatsoever.
Sure, absolutely, of course.
So I'm just saying, I think that bubble of what you're saying there is so small compared to the quote unquote general gaming audience.
It's we've got it backwards. It's everybody knows what Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out, and everybody already knows what it is because it's an Assassin's Creed game, and it's a Ubisoft game. Yeah. Starfield was already being tagged with it's a Bethesda game before it even came out. And it's cool, that's great, and it's good for the people who like Bethesda games and want to play Bethesda games, but for the rest of us out here that would like to see innovation, in the art form that we love, maybe we should spend the majority of time focusing on some other stuff as well. But even then, it's who's going to do it? There's what, 12 video game journalists left? Who's actually gonna be able to take the time to actually shine those lights? We do what we can on a podcast that's tiny, and maybe we move the needle on a couple of games a couple of times because of just the sheer passion that we have for indie games. But how many times do you go to IGN or Eurogamer and see an indie game being like promoted heavily, you know? And I know they have to get clicks because again they need money, and again there's only 12 fucking journalists out there because everybody's closed now.
A Game Informer might be coming back.
It's all in a very sorry state.
Yeah. I would say I've started a bit of Yakuza 0. I can tell they have innovated like fuck.
Of course they have.
All the way up to what up to like infinite wealth and everything. So like yeah, they have definitely innovated in a good way as well. And everything like that. I'm not saying Yakuza 0 is bad or anything like that. I haven't really delved fully into it to even give proper thoughts to it. But no,
I get that, and there's bound to be improvements and refinements on a minor scale when it comes to title. One of the things that always harks back to me is I've heard Ubisoft be described as the McDonald's of video games. That's to say, they do fast food and they do the same thing and they do it over and over and over again. And they might tweak the recipe every now and then, but it is exactly the same type of...
The McRib's coming back, guys.
Exactly. It might be the same type of like open world experience where you've got all these points of interest on the map. There's all these question marks to get. There's tall bits of the environment you need to climb and then synchronize with the rest of the map, and you'll jump off and do like that. And whether it's Assassin's Creed, whether it's Far Cry, whether it's Avatar that came out a couple of years ago.
I was just Far Cry.
Exactly. Well, that's the point. But it wasn't always like this. It was. They weren't always like this. Like they did release other types of games. The hole that they've dug for themselves right now is because they just kept releasing Ubisoft games. And yeah, sure, like there's differences between the Far Cries from Far Cry 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, but like it's the same game essentially. Like somebody who played 3, 4, and 5. It's like you could play 3 and then never touch the franchise again. And you wouldn't be missing. You'd just be missing a different setting and a couple of different mechanics here and there. But it's essentially it was the same experience. Why I stopped. Like even when they released that post-apocalyptic one, the little one, it's like it's still the same fucking game somehow. The New Dawn.
Oh yeah, New Dawn. Oh god, that was terrible.
Like Far Cry Primal was the same bloody game. That was my main complaint about it. It was like this is a great idea, but it's just Far Cry again.
I enjoyed Primal. I won't deny that. I enjoyed Primal.
I hated it.
But people enjoy fast food, and people, absolutely, people enjoy fast food. But at the end of the day, it's empty calories.
Yeah, but
and it's one of these where
Amy goes in. The thing about continuing to make the same game over and over again is like you're speaking to an ever shrinking audience because with each new release, more of your fans are gonna be sick of McDonald's, and maybe just want some KFC.
And even that's the same.
And well, some of us like KFC, but whatever, it's fine.
No, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but it's fast food.
It's fast food.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, like not everything has to be a steak. Sometimes you just want a cheeseburger. But like if you don't give people, and Microsoft was a classic example of this happening in real time. It's like if you don't give people a diversity of experiences, eventually you're going to lose more and more people until you're in the situation Ubisoft is in now, where their stock price is halved, and they can't, for the life of them, develop their way out of it because they just keep making the same game over and over again.
Because they have to be risk averse because they need to bank on quote unquote winners, and they have a formula.
But they would argue back saying they have been risk averse, it's just we haven't got the profits back that we wanted and everything like that because they put the profits too high that they expected back, like the Prince of Persia game last year or the year before, which was an incredible game. It was fantastic. I love that one.
It was so good. They broke the team up and closed the studio.
And broke the team up. And that's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking.
There's a quote from, and I read this earlier this week. It was almost my topic this week before I realized my brain couldn't handle thinking that much. But there was a quote earlier this week from one of the Helldivers 2 creative director that I want to read if I can find it. A lot of publishers, I'm sorry, my dear publisher friends, try to play it safe by taking safe bets. But one thing that I can guarantee is that those safe bets are a death sentence for the studios that try to make it. We're in the business of taking risks, and if you don't take risks, we're never going to be able to achieve success. Few people believe that Helldivers would amount to anything, and yet here we are.
Not wrong, no.
And it's like, well, that's the crux of the problem there, isn't it? It's like the next Balatro thing we were talking about. It's like you people who like Balatro have Balatro, and you will get the inevitable one or two people iterating on Balatro in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
And then 100 other Balatros, which people are going to play for a couple of hours and then go back to the original Balatro. It's the live service thing all over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's cool. You made a battle royale, and it's a lot of fun. But I have 300 hours invested in this one. So I'm going to keep playing this one.
Yeah. It gets even more like, for me, like, I could probably stomach Ubisoft games overall if they, for me, like, I always come down to one thing for me mostly is if I'm enjoying the story and characters. If the characters and stories are boring, I think that's why I loved Odyssey. I thought, like, me playing as Cassandra, I thought that was brilliant. I loved it.
The best.
Cassandra was the best. But they haven't been able to replicate that. Like, Valhalla, oh my God, the characters were so boring in that game. And, like, Watch Dogs 2, or what was it, Watch Dogs 3? That was the London one, wasn't it? Watch Dogs 3.
Yeah,
that was boring as well. And I feel like that's the worst thing about it, is that they've got locked into this fast food entity for the gaming that they're forgetting to put out a good story with good characters and everything. That I think they could get away with a lot of things. I think a lot of companies could get away with a lot of things, like they do anyway, when it comes to their games. But I think it's like what sold Baldur's Gate 3 was so great. Like at the beginning, what I said, the story and characters for a lot of people was incredible. That's the thing about it. Yes, people shout out great about the mechanics and everything like that, but a lot of the things that I always kept hearing was like, I did this, and the story part was amazing, and the characters did these amazing things, and I did this. It was awesome, and that was all about character and the great writing that, sadly, it seems like from AAA is just getting thrown out of the wayside, which is terrible to hear and everything. And that's why I think that, well, I've brought up twice already, is like, we're hearing so many different opinions of like, oh, writing's bad, writing's good, and everything, and it's all over the place. But then when you hear that one fixed point, like I said for Baldur's Gate 3, overall the loudness of how great that writing was and characters outshouted everybody, and that was such a great thing to hear about. And that's what we're not hearing anymore these days, and that's a real shame.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say to that is that stuff takes time. It takes talent,
definitely.
it takes effort, and
The
you
whole
can't
thing
do that
does.
when you're annualizing these games.
Yeah.
Like,
Pumping them out year after year after year.
That's why I'm loving Yakuza right now. Sorry for putting in there, Amy. The characters and stories are incredible. They're so much more fun for me. But go on, Amy. Sorry, I put it in.
well, it's not just writing and stuff. Like, people come to games for different things.
Yeah.
Everyone's opinion of writing is probably even more subjective than gameplay mechanics. But like, that's the thing about Dark Souls. Like, how many games have unnecessarily tried to bolt a Dark Souls style gameplay to their game? Like, look at Star Wars.
Yeah.
We got 2 games with this weird fucking Souls-like combat that wasn't really Souls-like
Stormtroopers
combat,
come back.
but was trying to be Souls-like combat, and it just felt kind of strange. Like, as somebody who has played those games and then played the Star Wars games, it's just like, this is weird, man. Like, why they do this? Because Dark Souls is very popular, and it's interesting that like a lot of like good but not great would probably describe a lot of games that we all play. And like with like Baldur's Gate 3, for example, these are using to follow on the same example, it's like that explosion point of just like everything focuses on this one thing because so many people have found it and love it, you know, like Tears of the Kingdom would be the same, Elden Ring would be another one. But you can't build an industry on, to continue this fast food metaphor, you can't build an industry on just making steak.
Yes.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Unless you're American.
You need a balanced diet.
Yeah, you need a balance.
They thrive.
You need a balanced diet. Well, you'll have a balanced diet no matter what. Like,
they'll have a diet, that's for sure. They'll have something.
not every game is gonna explode and be amazing, but again, like there's games that have been like 69 on Metacritic or whatever, and I've played them and I've been like, you're all wrong, shut the fuck up. This game's fantastic. And probably the flip where it's like, no, you're all wrong, this game isn't that good, shut the fuck up. I don't know where I was going with that point.
We were completely different opinion when it came to the performances on Silent Hill 2. last year. Like, you loved them. I thought, especially the main character, was not so good for me.
It's like it's all subjective.
Exactly. That's the title of the show. It's all subjective, motherfuckers.
It's like it's all subjective, and review aggregation is stupid. And I proved
We've
that
already-
point
we've
in
proven
in my Dark Souls video.
You shouldn't build your video game and movie trivia show around critical scores and aggregation.
Speaking of review scores and aggregation, it's time to play OpenCritic Head-To-Head, the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. I guess we're the idiots.
Shout out to you in that segue.
I didn't even plan it. Whoever guesses closest to the score at the time of recording gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. We have 3 games with results that are in. I'm disappointed by one of them, but it's fine. It's fine. It's not like it's going to cost me any money or anything. We tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Vitz, you guessed it, we get a 78. Amy, you guessed it, we get an 85. Moody, you guessed it, we get a 77. At the time of recording, Assassin's Creed Shadows has an OpenCritic average of 81, which gives Vitz a point and Moody a pizza at some point in the future, as soon as I can afford it. You still got a lot of minus points. I wasn't that far off. You didn't get Silent Hill 2, but you did get something.
I got 11. I got minus 11.
Yeah, you would do fair.
But I think I think it's going to go further down for me. I just have this feel.
Or even up. If it gets to 85, I'll still buy a pizza, but I am going to be.
Hey, you've already lost.
I am gonna. No, because the terms were right now. But I will feel vindicated if it somehow reaches that height. I will scream vindication. We also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Moody, you guessed it would get an 85. Vitz, you guessed it would get an 88. I guessed it would get an 84. At the time of recording, the game has an OpenCritic average of 87, which gives Vitz 1 point. Me a lot of fantasy critic points. Thank you very much.
I know this game has already been out for the Wii U and everything. We've got. I wish I had my Switch still right now because I kind of feel like I want to play this.
Hey, maybe you'll get it on Switch too in
going anywhere.
3 to 30 months, whenever that thing comes out. We also tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Atelier Yumiya, the Alchemist of Memories, and the Envisioned Land. Moody, you guessed it would get a 79. Vitz, you guessed it would get an 83. I guessed it would get a 76. At the time of recording, that game has an OpenCritic average of 80, which means Moody gets a point. And puts the scores at Amy 4, Vitz 9, Moody 10.
Great stuff.
At least Vitz is keeping it interesting this year.
Finally, someone stepped up this year.
Yeah, you know my stance. I've reiterated for 2 weeks running.
Vitz took his time last year while I was like, He was still like,
I was in a battle with
recovering
Jaws,
from winning Fantasy Critic the year before, so he's like,
he did, yes. Okay, this week we've got 3 games to guess the OpenCritic average for, and I'm going to have to type this out on my phone because I forgot to charge my laptop. Edit.
it's one of those games.
Why aren't you editing? Okay, Vitz, do you have the thing open?
I do, yeah. So the first game
You're gonna no, I've got it open. I just for some reason I'm not able to edit on my phone.
Sure.
So you can do the typing. The first game is Atom Fall. Interesting one, this, because it had a very positive preview cycle just recently. So I am going to guess it is going to get an 82.
82. Moods, you're up.
84.
84. Yeah, a lot of hype around this game. Press pack had a cricket bat in it, which I appreciate.
Of course it did.
Absolutely.
It's like a main selling point of the game. You can use a cricket bat.
I'm going to go with an 80 on this one. But yeah.
I'm surrounded.
That's our score to add for.
It sure is. Yeah, this isn't updating at all. Like, I know you've typed the numbers in because I heard you clickety-clack, but it's not updating on here at all. So
No, I appreciate that.
It must have crashed. Next up, we have Rosewater. I feel like I've seen this game forever. Like I think I follow the developer. I must do, because I keep seeing this game pop up, and then it was like, it's coming out in 9 days or whatever, and I was like, oh shit.
They have a badge on their Steam page which proudly states that no generative AI was used in the making of this game.
I've seen this badge going around. It's like, yeah, I like that badge. It's a good badge. For Rosewater, I'm gonna go with an 85.
Ooh. Moods, what are you saying?
80.
Shoot from the hip. 80 was that?
Yes, sir. 80.
Okay.
Don't shoot from the hip. I shoot from the hip, and I'm like fucking 10 points behind or whatever. Don't do what I do.
This game is Western theme. It's all about shooting from the hip.
This could go either way, I think, this one. Like, right now, I've just gone through, like, the reviews on the other 2 games, and, like, they like good little starters and everything like that. But like if this is like, but if they've kept the same team and like refined, you know what I mean, like what we've been saying that all companies should fucking really do. It could be something interesting.
I myself have gone for an 83.
It's cool.
And that wraps up Rosewater.
That does. Like, hey, I'm going to, if like I'm gonna guess high, I'm gonna try and hope that all these games are going to be the best versions of themselves, and if I go down with a legendarily low score in OpenCritic Head-To-Head this year, that sounds like the game critic's problem and not my problem. We're also going to guess the OpenCritic average of the first Berserker Kazan.
Hell yeah!
I saw a Souls speedrunner that I follow playing the demo for this a while ago, and it was one of those things where it went from, I know this game exists, to, well, that does actually look pretty good. The power of influencer marketing, I guess.
And the power of Ben Starr.
It wasn't Ben Starr. Imagine if Ben Starr was a Soul speedrunner.
I mean, he's in this game, but yeah, he may also be a Soul speedrunner for all you know.
Like, he just shows up at GDQ this summer and it's just like, yeah, I'm going to do Elden Ring, any percent. Like, what the fuck? Be the highest, like, donated, like, thing.
Blindfolded while playing the guitar.
I mean, I've seen the game done blindfolded, and I've seen someone do some of the bosses with a saxophone controller. Those are 2 things that have happened at GDQ. You got little doots. He was like, burr, burr, doopy, doopy, burr. It's very funny. 83.
83 for the one and only Amy Kate Alexander. Moody, my friend.
75.
Oh, 75 coming in from there. Bit of a spread from our co-hosts. I believe in the power of Ben Starr. I'm going to say it's going to get an 82.
Him voicing it doesn't mean it's going to be a great.
I believe in the power of Ben's. I believe in the power of Ben Starr. That's why I'm going to go lower than Amy.
82 is still a fine score. Thank you very much.
You know he's going to get 2 points for this now.
They believe in the power of Ben Starr, but not that much.
I believe in the power of Ben Starr, an appropriate amount. when it comes to him and his Balatro thingies that he's doing.
Well, you know what? I believe in the power of Ben Starr more. Vitz, put that number up to an 86.
Damn. All right, here we go.
No. We don't do that. You see your first number and it's locked in. You can't change it.
I'm changing it
now.
You're not allowed to. That's not how we do these things. You're not allowed to.
I typed a new number.
I don't have any control over it. I can't even see it.
Uh-huh.
On my screen, it just said XX.
You need to protest quicker.
To be fair, it's not like you knew I was about to do that. Moody, I'm not going to get any points anyway, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's true.
If I get 2 points for it, I'm still going to be 5 points behind you. As we proved last year, I am not a threat to you in this game. I'm barely a threat. I'm barely a threat to last place. Oh, but that is going to do it. And I'm very excited for this next segment because it's time for Moody's time to shine. And apparently, I've heard he's rewritten it.
Yes, I have. But before I get into that, I just want to announce for everyone to know. Amy and Vitz already know this and everything like that, but I'm going to announce it here. I have finally, at long last, I have found employment. Everybody back into the video game industry. So next week's episode, as I've already told Amy and Vitz, will be my last for a couple of weeks and everything, if not a little bit more, because I will be moving. To my new place of employment. I am not saying where I'm going. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's a good job. You already told me that, it was a temporary leave of absence, because where you decided to put the pause in that sentence.
Yeah, 'cause I thought we were going for the foreseeable future. That's what I thought the sentence was really up.
He was like, it's my last
episode for the future for a little while. My aim is maybe to come back somewhere late April, maybe beginning of May and everything like that. But I'm going to be moving and everything, so I will be gone after next week and everything. So the episodes will probably get better for you, everyone. So yay for that and whatnot. But,
I'm gonna have to come up with some guest stars.
Yeah, you're gonna have to and everything. But don't worry, I've got you both locked safe. I will do a video of my time to shine for you, so you can have a nice
No. Me and Vitz can handle time to shine for a few weeks. It's fine. We've done it before. It was fine.
Yeah, it was so fine indeed. But let's go to the brand new time to shine. Hello, everybody. Be proud. You made it. Another day is behind you. Another week has passed. But do you want to know what else you have? A future that's all yours to decide. Let fly your heated fury, because it is time to party. We all welcome each other from far and wide. We'll help each other out all the way. Go live your best life. It all starts from level 1. Now go, high five that sky, live long and prosper. The journey is yours and it starts now. Yay!
Nailed it.